Welcome to the ACU Bootcamp on the JPS Interop channel. In this episode, we'll be discussing how to adjust the transmit audio level of the DSP and radio resource interfaces of the ACU interoperability gateways and modules. This will ensure that audio transmitted by an associated donor radio is at the proper level before the audio is shared with other disparate radios in the interoperable environment. And if you haven't viewed our last episode 204 on the alignment of receive audio level, I recommend that you first watch that episode to prepare yourself for this episode. As we learned from that previous episode, the ACU gateways are optimized to operate at 0 dBm, and if we ensure that the receive audio levels from all donor radios are adjusted such that those audio levels appear as 0 dBm when delivered to the ACU backplane, we can have the confidence to know that all receive audio, regardless of which donor radio it came from, is at a known power level, and that's 0 dBm. With all donor radios providing the same virtual receive audio level at the backplane, all we need to do is make certain that the transmitting donor radios are properly modulated by the ACU interface. The gain of audio entering and leaving the gateway will be the same virtual levels. What audio level goes in is the same level coming out. As you remember, unity gain prevents over or under modulated conditions, so let's get started with the transmit audio level setup. As we learned in previous episodes, for proper alignment or troubleshooting, we must create a simple cross connection with the ACU handset and the radio resource interface or DSP module to be aligned. Since we're addressing transmit audio levels, we'll be activating the donor radio's transmitter by pressing the ACU handset's PTT button. Speak in the ACU handset with a test count, which will be transmitted to a radio in the field using the donor radio. Unlike the receive audio level adjustment, which we addressed in the last episode, we do not have the luxury of a signal LED to indicate when we're operating around the 0 dBm level. Instead, we have two ways to determine if the transmitting donor radio is properly modulated. While speaking into the ACU handset with a test count, one method is to simply listen to the audio received by the radio in the field and determine if the quality of the audio coming from the ACU gateway is satisfactory. This method is purely judgmental and is dependent upon the volume level of the radio in the field as well as the ear of the evaluator. A better method is to compare the test count transmitted from the ACU gateway to a test count transmitted from a supplemental subscriber unit. With this method, the volume controls of the radio in the field have no bearing on the audible differences between the transmitting donor radio supporting the ACU gateway and the standalone subscriber unit. There are many situations where an additional subscriber unit is not available, and in those cases, you can do without. Even if using the good method, you can yield satisfactory results. In this example, we're going to use the ACU controller. The Waze controller and the browser-based controllers have similar interface configuration panels. From within the ACU controller, create an interoperable group with the radio interface to be adjusted and the ACU handset. Remember, when aligning or troubleshooting an ACU interface module or resource channel, always create an isolated interoperable group as not to disturb any concurrent interoperability taking place within the gateway. Next, double-click the interface icon to open the module setting panel for that module. If you like, this is a good opportunity to load a radio-specific template. You can review the radio interface application note, or you can simply proceed with the transmit audio level adjustment. Since the donor radio will be in a transmit state, we'll be adjusting the transmit audio level. The TX adjustments affect the audio going to the donor radio, and conversely, the RX adjustments affect the audio coming from the donor radio. The values that we see in the TX audio level adjustments are absolute values in dBm ranging from -26 dBm to +12 dBm. Those values are the transmit audio levels coming from the ACU. If we were to select -26 dBm from the TX audio level pull-down menu and then connect an audio power meter to the transmit output of the ACU, the meter should measure -26 dBm. This is the transmit audio power level to be delivered to the donor radio. And in this case, the modulation will be minimal and the audio heard at the field radio will probably be undermodulated and very faint. Again, the value selected in the TX audio level pull-down menu is the audio level that's delivered to the donor radio. Conversely, if +12 dBm is selected from the TX audio level pull-down menu, the audio power meter should read +12 dBm. Again, this is the transmit audio power level to be delivered to the donor radio. In this situation, the modulation will be maximum and the resulting audio heard at the field radio will probably be overmodulated and distorted and maybe too loud. It's not necessary to measure the transmit audio coming from the ACU to perform the alignment. Simply transmit a test count to the radio in the field using the ACU handset and then evaluate the loudness of the audio emerging from that field radio. Make certain that the volume knob on the field radio is at an optimal mid-range position. If the audio heard at the field radio is too weak, select the larger dBm value from the TX audio level pull-down menu. Larger dBm values will increase the audio drive to the donor radio, and don't forget to click apply to commit the setting. If the audio at the field radio is too loud or distorted, select a smaller dBm value. And once again, if you're uncomfortable with using dBm values, simply use the unitless numbers within the brackets as a volume control or gain control. Lower numbers within the bracket means that the audio heard by the field radio will be more faint than the larger numbers within the brackets, just like a volume control. Again, the alignment using just the ACU handset is adequate in most situations. It would be advantageous to have the field radio near the ACU so it'll be easier for you as an operator to assess the quality of the audio. The more accurate method is to use a supplemental radio to transmit a test count to the remote field radio. By alternating test counts between the ACU handset and the supplemental subscriber unit, you can then determine if the audio coming from the ACU is fainter or louder than the standalone field radio. Adjust the TX audio level up and down until the audio level heard from the ACU Gateway is similar to the supplemental subscriber unit. You may hear some delay in the audio when making the comparison. This is normal, and we'll address delay in our next episode. But when adjusting the TX audio level, just be concerned with the level of the audio heard at the remote field radio. By performing the TX audio level alignment, effectively mitigating over or under modulated conditions in the interoperable environment. If the RX and TX audio levels are properly and separately aligned, we can have complete confidence that we can create any combination of interoperable cross connections without the fear of over or under modulating our allied agencies' radio systems. And finally, if someone in the field complains that the audio that they're hearing from their subscriber unit is either too loud or too low, immediately determine the state of the donor radio at the moment of the complaint. Is the donor radio transmitting or is it receiving? In this case, the donor radio is transmitting, which means we must make adjustments to the TX audio level. So this concludes another ACU Bootcamp episode. In the next episode, we'll be discussing the adjustment of the receive audio delay. We'll learn what receive audio delay is, why it's needed, and when to apply delay. Every couple of weeks, we should have a new episode of useful technical information that will help you better understand ACU technology and provide your organization or agency dependable, interoperable communications. And if you have any suggestions on future episodes you would like us to include, or you're interested in more information on our products and solutions, please give us a call or visit us at jpsinterop.com.